What up YouTube, NWN here, aka Young Neil, catch him in the Joe the Region flexing, and this is my top 10 worst games of 2014. Only games that I personally play will be on this list because I don't do the hype train, whether it be something positive or negative. I just want everyone to understand this is the worst games of 2014, not the most disappointing or overhyped. That means games like Watch Dogs, The Crew, Destiny, Titanfall, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, and Assassin's Creed Unity. They won't be on my list. I know it's cool to hate on those games these days, but they weren't terrible, just disappointing. I wish people would learn the difference.
Treat people the way that you want to be treated. Except for in Call of Duty, you can talk shit, that's cool. I needed to be the black Ash Ketchum. It was my destiny to be the Negro Ketchum. But let's talk about why all white people look like spoiled milk when they take their clothes off.
Modern warning.
Step 1, get money. Step 2, repeat step 1.
Number 10.
Be punished for your sins.
Funny story, a couple weeks ago my boy Gamer Ethos and I were discussing our top 10 worst games of 2014. He stated his list and I proceeded to share mine. I brought up the reboot Thief that dropped in 2014 and he agreed that the game was trash. But then he said that the game came out in 2013 and I was like, no, that game dropped in 2014. After about 5 minutes of Ethos going, he had a brain blast like Jimmy Neutron. He was like, oh snap, it did come out in 2013. And then we just both busted out laughing. And do you know why? Thief has a forgettable story, it's a linear stealth game which makes absolutely no sense when it comes to stealth games, and the combat is just god awful. Don't you dare get caught by a guard in this game because when it comes to fight, all you can do is bonk them on the head with a stick like Bam Bam. Actually, Bam Bam is a good metaphor for this game. The aesthetics may be decent, but the mechanics are prehistoric.
Number 9. You want the guy in the picture, huh? Look for a gun dealer in Alphabet City. Okay, he goes by Carradine. I think I got his latest number here in my phone. Wait, don't.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Dear Activision, why is it so hard to find a studio that can put together a decent Spider-Man game? I mean, every year a new Spider-Man movie comes out, and every year you make sure the game launches aside the film instead of trying to recapture the magic of Spider-Man 2. All the enemies in this game, except for the bosses, are just generic thugs. The stealth mechanics are weird as shit because Spider-Man is so fast, and New York City is so dull. I mean, the buildings are just bland looking, and the city has no life. You're fighting crime in New York City, but it's barely even 2 people on the street at once. It was cool that you could use various Spider-Man suits with their own unique stats and abilities, but that wasn't enough to save this movie cash-in title. Avoid The Amazing Spider-Man because honestly, it's nothing amazing about it. You see what I did right there? I'm so clever. Not really, but you know. Number 8. You know, I watched a lot of top 10 worst games of 2014 videos, and to my surprise, nobody but me nominated this game. Let me explain to you why DayZ is one of the worst games of 2014. When this was just an Arma 2 mod, we gave a lot of the game's problems a pass because, well, it was a mod. When the developers decided to make this a standalone title, it was time that we judged it as so. DayZ has been available on Steam for 1 year now, and still in early access on an alpha build, with no date on a beta build coming anytime soon, let alone the full retail release. The studio's leader left the team mid-2014, leaving the game in limbo, so what we have is an unpolished piece of dog shit. I have a GTX Titan GPU, and I can't run this game above 24 frames per second. It's an unoptimized piece of shit that represents a bigger problem on Steam. The problem with these early access titles is Steam doesn't give them a times table as to when their game needs to be finished. Thus you have greedy devs on Steam who make one ace of a game, make a shit ton of money, and never finish the game. Steam really needs to take a hard look at their early access policies and make stricter guidelines because DayZ is a zombie game with no fucking zombies. Number 7.
Too rusty for this, bro. Me? I've been working the streets fighting crime. You're the one who's been fake waterbending.
Nut tuck never fakes.
Guys, can we focus?
The Legend of Korra. What was the point of this game? It's almost like Platinum Games held a board meeting right after releasing their masterpiece Bayonetta 2, and they thought to themselves, how can we fuck up our reputation? The Legend of Korra. This 2-hour piece of dog shit had so much potential. I mean, this is the Avatar universe. There's metal bending, lava bending, lightning bending, and so many other cool powers, but it sticks to the basics of earth, wind, fire, and water. The story, completely forgettable. The environments are surprisingly bland in this colorful world, and the camera is Super Saiyan stupid. The camera flips and dips more than a Russian gymnast. It's just hard to capture the action when the camera fails the city like every villain in Arrow. What's worse is the Avatar fanboys defend this cash-in. It was just supposed to be a quick $15 title. I knew what I was getting to. Platinum Games didn't have enough time to make this a better game because they were working on Bayonetta 2. Then guess what? Don't make the fucking game. Number 6, Rambo. Why does this game even exist? I mean, seriously, in 2014, who was clamoring for a Rambo game? Is Rambo even relevant to this younger generation? I mean, I know my age group and my parents' age group is familiar with the series, but what about 13 to 17 year olds? Were they begging for Rambo? Where do I even start with this game? Matter of fact, terrible graphics? Check. On-rail first-person shooter? Check. Uninspired quick-time events? Check. Lazy voice acting? Check. Matter of fact, let's remove the last check because this game doesn't even have voice acting in it. Instead, the developers opted in to rip the audio straight from the movie and use it in the game's cutscenes. Mind you, the first Rambo film came out in 1982, so the audio in the game sounds like it's being played through a shoebox. Their PR team, I'll give it to them. They was nice enough to send me a free review copy, and then the email they was talking about, we think you'll love this game and put it on your channel, da da da. But you notice how I never reviewed this game? This game gave me a fucking headache. It was like taking a Rasengan to the forehead. And if it smells like a poop swirl, looks like a poop swirl, then it must be diarrhea, huh? Number 5,
Sonic Boom!
Number 4,
Sonic Boom!
Number 3,
Sonic Boom!
Number 2,
Sonic Boom!
Number 1. Yeah.
Sonic Boom!
In all honesty, Rambo should have been number 2 on my list, but because I didn't play 10 terrible games this year, I had to finesse this list. Regardless of that, Sonic Boom would have still topped my list because it's so bad, Nintendo should have took it off the shelves and banned Big Red Button from producing content for the Wii U ever again. The community has dubbed this title Sonic 14. Why? Because it feels like the sequel to the nightmare that was Sonic 06. This is hands down the slowest Sonic game in Sonic history. I mean, there are a few running sections that are basically bootleg Temple Run, but those few running sections are ruined by the snail-ass frame rate. The frame rate drops more than the PSN network, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. You spend more time jumping around on a 2D plane and brawling with a limited combo system than you actually do going fast. Amy is annoying, Tails is annoying. They turn Knuckles into a meathead. But the worst thing about this game is the glitches. All throughout my playthrough, characters on my team would disappear, I'd phase through walls and out the map, and I got stuck in objects a couple times. You also got the infamous Knuckles glitch, which allows you to jump and pause through half the game, but the worst glitch in this game is a game-breaking one. See, in this game, you can break it by going to a part of the game that you're not supposed to be at yet. You're able to access areas early because the game doesn't, 1, tell you where you're supposed to be, and 2, prevent the player from progressing without completing certain areas and missions. So what you have is this game that will make you run around in circles until you realize that the game is broken. I only know this because I broke Sonic Boom unintentionally and because this glitch has been confirmed online in numerous forums. I think what makes this so bad though is this game is marketed towards kids. Imagine getting this game for your child or little niece or nephew and they're just running around in circles watching the same cutscenes over and over unbeknownst to them because they're too naive and young to know. That's what makes this game the worst kind. I was about to call it Sonic Penis. I meant Sonic Boom. Y'all know I only do one take. Fuck it, man. Is a piece of dog shit that shouldn't be touched by a 10-foot dildo. And those are my top 10 worst games of 2014. Well, actually, it was 5, but you know what I'm saying. So let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And when you're done, make sure to check out ModelWindigo.com. We post the latest gaming news, previews, reviews, comics, and music. It's a one-stop shop for all things geek. I thank you guys for watching, but my city needs me.